Good morning, ma'am. I am Henry Kalarian and I am here to talk about work ethics. This work ethics touches the life of Kobe Bryant, a legendary basketball player who, in his time, showed us how to conquer all our battles with great perseverance and patience. And Kobe Bryant showed me how to conquer battles wherein you know that your enemies are bigger than you. But Kobe Bryant teach me a lesson that no enemy is bigger than you, only your fears are. So according to Kobe Bryant, he said that as a leader of a team, it is also your responsibility to elevate the rest of the guys. You have to get them emotionally to want to be better. So I think the best way to prove your value is to work, it is to learn, it is to observe, and to be a sponge. But you always want to outwork your potential. As hard as you can believe you can work harder than that. And that's what Kobe Bryant did when he first came in the league. But you know, basketball is such a direct competition sport. That competitive nature, the work ethic, and curiosity. Because I ask a lot of questions. I would always sit down and just ask questions about certain games that I studied growing up. Well, Kobe said that he always dreamed as a kid that if it was possible to gain a score of 80 or 90 or even 100, well, he was just like, I had a dream. Sometimes you lay down in bed and you visualize things and imagine playing for the Lakers. And I'd imagine the uniforms looks like. And I'd imagine where we would be playing. And the smell of the arena and all sort of stuff. And I'd see myself, getting hot. So you just keep on dreaming and dreaming and dreaming. And before I go to sleep, I'm like at 120 points. So when you grow up, then loading that into your brain over and over and over. And according to Kobe, they weren't just shots. They were shots that he saw in that game. They were specific shots. It was very specific, so when you download that into your system and you go out into the court, you're just executing things that you've done thousands of times before, and you have that dream, and that dream becomes possible. And Kobe Bryant had this favorite film entitled Rudy. After watching that film, he come to understand that if only he could work that hard every day and being blessed with the physical tools that he have, he thought what his career would be. And with that, he made a promise to himself from that day forward, he's gonna work hard every single day so that when he retires, he'll have no regrets. And that was the most important thing to Kobe. To leave no stone unturned. To get better every single day. And living that way, he knew he'll have something beautiful at the end of the day. That was his philosophy. And it may seems like a pretty simple one, but if you live your life to get better every single day and do that for 20 years, that's an insane work ethic. But for Kobe, basketball was the most important thing. So everything he saw, whether it's TV shows, whether it's the books he read, or the people he talked to, everything that he do was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player. Everything. So when you have that kind of point of view, then literally the world becomes your library to help you become better at your craft. So at 13 years old, Kobe played the longer game because his game wasn't about being better than anybody else. It was being better than his own 13-year-old self. So he would play at 13 and he would size up his contenders and see what their strengths and weaknesses are. He would see how a person approached the game. Were they silly about it, or are they goofy about it, or are they good at it just because they're bigger and stronger than everybody else, or if they put action, thought, and skill into it. But you know, when Kobe plays, he plays his weaknesses. Because when you're playing summer basketball, there are so many games, so there's not a lot of skill work being done. So when are you gonna get better? He asked. But then eventually said, when you are playing in competition situations, you're only playing to your strengths. And why? Because you wanted to win. So what he would always do is that he'll always work on the things during those games that he's weak at. His work ethics is to work and work and work until he's finally good at delivering his own craft. And we all know that he's very good at it. So fast forward to when he's at the age 17. His game was completely well-rounded. The player he saw at 13 was still doing the same things at 17 and thought that this and that was a big problem. But then he said, I see a lot of players that take vacations with other players that are close friends, just to take vacations or just to hang out, he said. But the truth is, he never did that. He confessed that he never go to any vacations or with his close friends or anyone. Then he was asked, why not? Why didn't you do that? But his answer was, well, because when I retire, I didn't want to have to say, I wish I would have done more. He doesn't want that. And prior to this, he was asked again, what were some of the factors that you looked at on how to improve your game season after season? And his answer was, the game itself was very difficult. It's a complicated answer, so there are very tactical things in terms of footwork and geometry of the court. So you're looking at the 45-degree angles that the court is shaped in and how it needs to operate. So that's one component into it. So looking at the spots on the floor where you can increase your efficiency. You can be in the wing, but there's a certain spot on the wing that improves your angle to drive to the basket. So there's this footwork of the opposition. Looking at the emotion of the opposition, their tendencies and weaknesses and all that stuff. Understanding the momentum of the game. How to create momentum shifts. Where momentum shifts came from. All those sort of stuff. And he said, looking at different industries, looking at conductors, looking at writers, looking at actors and how they get in the character, and then how they get themselves in that mental space, looking at nature itself, and learning from that and how you can incorporate that into the game. It's a lot of studying. Kobe Bryant works very hard every single day, keeping in mind all the attention to detail that he needs to have. His work ethics is on a different level. He studies his own craft carefully and tactfully, not to miss a thing about it, because basketball is a sport that you don't need to rush. This sport is like planting a fruit tree. You have to take good care of it from the very beginning, and to think that just by tomorrow it'll have its fruit is wrong. Basketball needs perseverance, and that's what Kobe Bryant did. He trains 8 hours a day and spends 9 months away from his family. Not only he has perseverance, but also patience, and that sort of sacrifices is never easy. And he said, Competitiveness inside was like, no, I'm gonna do something in the next 20 years that is better than these last 20. What he did was to make sure that the people he brings in, the obsessives he brings in, was challenging themselves to do the best job they think they can do. And this is why he was there. His presence is to make them constantly look in the mirror and self-assess and challenge themselves that if they were to strive as hard as Kobe did, then success won't be a mile away from their path. That if their work ethics is as strong as Kobe Bryant's, then we can be as great as him. We can be as stronger as him and better than our old self. So life is not about how you think how hard playing basketball or how hard it is to paint or make a great story. It's not about how hard it is to perfect a song or perform a spectacular performance. It's about the level of our curiosity and the work ethics that we put into. Because through our curiosity, we can reach a certain level that we thought was impossible to attain. It's only the human mind that brings us a limitation to what we could do. If only we could broaden our mind and accept thousands of possibilities and work out in our work ethics, then we'll be as great as the legendary Kobe Bryant, who sleeps 4 hours a day and spends most of his time practicing. And we'll be as rich as the billionaire named Bill Gates, who sleeps with programming in his desk and wakes up again with programming waving to him. He works all day and night and sleep was his only rest. His work ethics means be faithful to the things you want to achieve and later on, you'll meet your own expectations.